just maybe, it was based on matchup. We'll see.
We're actually going to jump right in to the game number 2 pick ban. So we'll see if there's any sort of deviation. Right there, you see at the very bottom, global ban on Diana and Aphelios.
Yeah, no Achilleos. Not allowed to bring Achilleos into this this tournament
not today.
at all. No, not at all. Gonna have to wait until tomorrow for that one.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah. Have you ever casted with Achilleos before?
No.
I don't. Oh, look at this. The debut. The world debut.
Okay.
Of the
you know what? I'm not even gonna show up. I gotta give him a proper introduction. You know what I mean?
No, you need to be here so that you can leave the desk.
Well, that too. I mean, I might just actually sit over there with the one ASURA fan in the room.
Ah, yeah, there is one.
There is one.
A peek behind the curtain.
Yeah.
Yes, there is. We have the one ASURA fan.
Yeah, he's not happy.
It looks like Team Dynamics as well are really sort of keyed in on these particular bans, thinking that the Tryndamere is going to be something to worry about here today. I didn't see Regang playing too much of it. Not entirely sure. I couldn't find Juhan's account, so maybe Jungle Tryndamere has been the thing he's been spamming. Who knows? Gangbong as well. I mean, he could be playing Tryndamere in the mid lane. All sorts of options.
Oh, this is really interesting, by the way. We're having 2 colors be played back to back.
Yeah, so you get side selection, I believe, based on seeding or something like that. This happened yesterday. So it is going to be blue side both times for Team Dynamics. Not entirely sure whether they chose it in the first game or not, or what happened, or who had side selection here for the second game, but it happened.
Sandra. So here's what happened. In game number 1, they opted into Syndra first pick, and so if they think that that's a winning line, it would be really surprising to see them deviate from it, especially if they didn't go with another champion that is multi-flexible and also able to handle any sort of variations of team comp styles. So
yeah, looking pretty comfy here for Team Dynamics so far, but is it going to be the no, it's not. It's going to be, in fact, the Mordekaiser. Fiora left available as well, so in theory Rich can just try and do the same thing, but that's a Misfortune this time. I like this. Misfortune's so incredibly strong in the current state of the game, so maybe Okid can have a bit of a better time in that bottom lane. Now at least has an actual AD carry instead of just the ASURA.
Yeah, and we'll see now what Rich is going to do. You know, last game I actually criticized the B3 blind Mordekaiser, but now ASURA, I mean, they're rotating it on R1.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a little surprising to see what Team Dynamics' response is going to be. So far, though, they're picking into it by opting into a Rek'Sai. I'm not a particular fan of this champion, but Varus getting picked up once more for FaZe down there in bot lane, and ASURA responding with the power bot lane, hovering the Leona. We'll see if she ends up getting locked in. There's a lot of Leona counters that still exist right now. And now we'll probably just begin to see the Leona counters banned away. See the Morgana and the Thresh probably just end up biting the dust on the side for ASURA.
But it is the Varus once again for FaZe. I think a lot of players, especially in Korea, think that the Varus goes into the Misfortune better than most others, so he's decided to opt in for that one. Expecting the Morgana ban to come in second, but Team Dynamics will see what they decide to do. I mean, ASURA have the option of also banning Fiora if they don't want to get that one ran back against them. Much like Regank did. However, it wasn't able to win them the game, so maybe it's not that important. At least taken away as the jungle seems to be where the focus of Team Dynamics is going to be this time out. Still a lot on the table, but at least Lee Sin could be comfortable bans if you want to get rid of sort of the top tier and especially the most expected junglers here in Korea. Tahm Kench is going to be the decision. So a possible, you know, lots of purple stuff team composition coming out of Team Dynamics right now, if they would like it, as Gragas is the opted in for jungler of choice.
And the reason that they're pinching more Magic or AP junglers is because they already have option to go for Aurelia on final pick.
Yep.
And that's obviously a pretty standard response to the Syndra. So given that they have a physical damage mid laner that they're still able to pick, you would just want to pinch more ability power or mage junglers. So now ASURA, they lock in the Nocturne. I actually don't mind this here at all. Nocturne's able to be flexed mid, top, and jungle at this stage, so they reserve the time.
Okay. It hasn't been locked. You can stay. 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 And,
I'm looking at the one ASURA
right.
fan in the crowd right now, and I'm wondering.
This could be a
what
fun
he
one.
just paid Dynamics to pick these champions. What's going on here? All right.
Oh,
no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's a yikes.
See
Well,
you later,
Gangbong is definitely playing that that Nocturne, so they're looking for. All right, no, it's not happening. They're going to pick the Fiora themselves into the Aatrox. That's their decision. That's a matchup that's not as much in favor of the Fiora as the Mordekaiser matchup is, but let's see how this one goes. Rich was, of course, a massive fan of the Aatrox. Stay. Stay. All right, good. Oh, yeah? I can't hear you in my head. Does that mean that everything's
Alice,
okay?
I got a little poem for you.
Okay.
Okay. Roses are red.
Uh-huh.
Violets are blue.
Mm-hmm.
Without Annie,
Mm-hmm.
you're bronze too.
That's a great poem. That's
Thank
beautiful.
Thank
Did
you.
you come up with that one yourself?
I might. I mean, I didn't come up with it. It's the truth. But
Oh, right. Okay. So
you
it's
know.
not a poem. It's just this is scripture. Is that what you're talking
Pretty
about?
much.
All right. Wow. I can't believe we had a sign from the heavens from
Yeah.
LS. Thank you
I
very
thought I
much
had
for
to
that.
drop that one on you on Christmas. You know?
I'm glad you did. You sort
Yeah.
of you detracted from the attention that we had on the actual game itself. So that's probably useful given the fact that we do.
I was
have
trying to save our viewers' eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, from the Syndra Aatrox situation here.
From the Braum Atrox, on
Yeah.
B4 B5, that was pretty bad.
924B Brom is not as bad as 923 Brom. You know, he got some slight.
He did get some slight changes.
Buffs, yeah.
I think that the complaints that his unrealistic 4 or 5 man R did end up getting nerfed is not a warranted complaint.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we'll see how this one goes as we move towards game number 2. Team Dynamics on the verge of taking down ASURA. Let's see whether we can as we get into game 2. Team Dynamics, Hana, do, set. Team Dynamics 14. Waiting.
I think that guy left.
Yeah, no, well, he wasn't even here at the beginning, so I don't know whether we were like expecting him to come back for game 2, but it hasn't happened. Juhan, he's going to be on the Nocturne jungle, which isn't as popular these days. Shout out to our boy Vedius, who does very much love the Nocturne mid that we saw yesterday work out to great effect. I believe in the hands of Tempt at that particular point in time. He looked pretty strong on that one. Gangbong's going to be heading into the top lane as the mid laner on the Fiora. So Regank wanting to mix things up on this Mordekaiser this time, but not wanting to utilize all of the extra, muscle memory that he just worked on playing the Fiora. He's the one with all of the experience on this Mord.
Well, at this point, we're going to have to see what happens in the early game Atlas.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
you can't
waiting
get
and
too
watching.
excited. It's going to be a Mordekaiser in the mid lane against Sandra. Now, what is Mordekaiser's name? Michael?
Yeah, Monty.
Okay. Okay.
Because then he could be Monty Kaiser, which is kind of cool.
You know what? That would be. You know what? I'm actually completely fine with that.
Nice, thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
That's, of course, short for Montgomery, if we want to use the long form.
Ooh. Okay.
And Montgomery Kaiser is a phenomenal name. I'm a huge fan. Let's see how Rich does here. Now going to be on the Aatrox. Certainly a lot of comfort here for him, and comfort just in general for Korea. We love our Aatrox, or our Aatrox, or whatever you want to call it.
You mean Trox?
Yeah, Troxy Trox.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did get there in the end, didn't we? Yeah. The ace is silent.
Yeah.
Two of them, just to confirm double time. That they are
Correct.
silent.
It can be a bit of a doozy.
Yes,
The first time that you learn about it, but that's what I'm here for.
Thanks, man. I really appreciate it. As all right, good. Thinking about walking up there as Kid does step back, respecting the Braum. Respect that Winter's Bite, of course. Rek'Sai up towards the top side, though, and you can see from the Nocturne, he's also going to be doing that full clear to start this one off. No one vertical jungling this time around as Kuzan very aggressively shoving this Mordekaiser in underneath his turret. Gangnam also as well there to cover, but he's going to make his way around towards this top side. No ward going down, but Tremor Sense is going to be there. Is now Rich. We'll see whether he can actually get any of these knockups. You can see that this Rek'Sai is unnoticed for the moment.
I mean, this is an awful situation right now for the Fiora. Knows the Rek'Sai is here.
Gets the flash, but Gangnam has his. Prey Seeker is going to go off. Yep. But as you can see, Rich down to 200 health. This could be a 2v2 that ASURA can win. That is why Team Dynamics are going to back away. Rich underneath the turret is going to be left alone for the moment. Was potentially dangerous. This is a couple of creeps there, so the extra pressure working out for Gangboon, the top laner in, sorry, the mid laner in the top lane right now.
Yeah, and you know, I do think I mean, we do have to hand it to Rich. I mean, I think it's amazing how he always manages to make his lane state, you know, like an antonym to his ID, you know, because it's always in a pretty poor state. But
yeah,
it's truly impressive how 2 games in a row now, we can't even make it through the first 3-4 waves without something absolutely catastrophic happening, but we got a big trade happening down here.
Yep, speaking of catastrophic, that's the flash forward, and that is going to be First Blood picked up on the opposite side of the matchup than what we saw last time. Concussive Blows is going to stop IDK, and he doesn't find the Zenith Blade, meaning that Guga is going to survive, but FaZe was not as lucky. That was just really bad positioning from that Varus, standing so far up the lane, just waiting for a Zenith Blade to connect.
Now, at this point, the MF and the Leona are in a pretty good spot. They're going to get the recall off for free. Kuzan has failed to really achieve anything here with the mindless shoves into the Mordekaiser. Doesn't really have the damage to kill him. Also, Mordekaiser has teleport, so Mord is actually in a pretty okay state, even though he's down a lot in the CS department. Kuzan's not really achieving anything, so the wave management not really as clean or refined as it could be, and you can just see here that Guga and FaZe not really expecting this all-in trade, which is really surprising because they were so far up inside of the lane, and it wasn't even like it was anything that required any mechanical play.
Yeah, that was just, let's hit an E, and then they were dead. Guga did everything in his power to try and make that one work, and FaZe held onto his flash, so possibly good news, as the flash was utilized by Okid to get that kill. Rich continues to fight, as now, in we go, Gangnam looking for something, doesn't get there. Flash still available, doesn't decide to go for any of the knockups. Onto a single target, of course, that is the adjustment of Rek'Sai a little while ago. As, yep, FaZe and Guga continue mindlessly pushing towards this bottom side.
They can just recall now. Not really anything is able to be achieved like this, but I mean, through this, Nocturne is getting to coast freely towards level 6, and once that happens, it's going to end up being disastrous for the mid laner, and even the top laner, depending on what Fiora can do to soften up the Aatrox before any sort of a dive. But yeah, Rich is looking extremely vulnerable in the controlled setting.
Yep, has a decent health bar right now, but as you can see, Nocturne waiting in the wings, level 6, almost to be gained. See how close he is if we do have a hover on over as the Gromp is now being taken, but maybe he can get it. Maybe a paranoia towards this top side could be an opportunity for the ASURA jungler, but not going to be. Going to need to move down to the wolves before that one is going to be an option. As in the mid lane, Regank just going to collect this large minion wave that Kuzan prepared for him. Gangnam gets a red buff, and we'll see where he takes it. He needs to start trying to affect this map before the potential of the Nocturne is realized.
Right now, sure, they're up 700 gold. Not really a massive advantage, but they also do know that Rek'Sai must be on the right-hand side of the map currently through deductive reasoning. Nocturne was just inside the blue side jungle, so this game, everything is going much, much, much better than the previous one.
Yeah, and especially here towards the bottom side where things just started to go extraordinarily wrong for Team Dynamics. That was a point of power for them in game number 1, of course. And Rich is missing so many of these knockups. As I say it, he hits one, but
you jinxed him.
As one of the first ones for quite some time, sort of the opposite caster curse. Start talking negatively and eventually they figure it out. But Rich now He's still ahead in farm. Still probably absolutely fine with how this one's going as Ocean Drake now being started off by Juhan. Level 6 has been collected as well as topside. There's the grand challenge. It's been issued, but look at that damage. There's the flash, and Rich just picks up the solo kill. So the cast curse certainly there. You're welcome, Rich. Brilliant stuff. Turns it all around, grabs that kill, and grabs the CS lead.
And now Gangnam, he's going to turn himself onto the Rift Herald Death Realm. Ended up being cast here, but Regang...
You just walk side to side. That's the counter to more. There's the flash forward. We're looking for him. Regank goes down, and now Juhan in trouble as well. Stunned up, ignited, and destroyed. Double kill for Kuzan, and this game went from pretty good for ASURA to really bad, really fast.
Yeah, they're forcing things for absolutely no reason whatsoever, and they're just getting punished for it. And it's really sad to see. Mordekaiser was actually doing so well in the CS department. Let's take a look at how this all transpired. So, in the middle of 8 minions, Fiora was compelled by an act of God here to just lunge onto the Aatrox. So, mind control is a pretty strong thing. Trust me, Atlas, I saw it at Worlds this past year. It's really impressive how these pro players can manage to be convinced by something.
Who knows what it is? I didn't.
I want to ask the ASURA fan in the crowd, but I'm not quite sure. I think he's hanging his head in shame right now. I don't really quite know what's going on there.
I wanted to make a reference to the Booty Bay to Ratchet boat, which is where most of the mind controlling happens. You know.
You know, that's actually a very well, I can't swear, but it's really a messed up thing. By the way, you ever go to Booty Bay and then if
get
all
mind
the
controlled
hoarder,
off the boat?
No. The hoarder waiting to board the boat.
Yeah.
Then you board the boat as an alliance, and things happen to you once it departs.
Yeah. No, that's what I
They
was
follow
talking
you
about.
into the. Yeah, that's not. Something's wrong there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a yikes. It's a bit of a yikes. I don't like it personally.
So you gotta try to run and hide in the ship or something.
Yeah. Get downstairs. Something like that. Grand challenge is issued.
You.
Just massive damage coming on out here as we got 2 members of ASURA up here, but the drop is gained by Juhan onto Kuzan, and that means that it's just Rich being able to shove this wave in and no response from Gangbung either. He's got flash available, so should be all right, and Rich doesn't have his as Infernal Chains comes on in, lunge over the turret, as that's a decent riposte, but Rich didn't pick up turret aggro. And now Gangbung has to use the flash in order to get out. Okay, Conqueror working out quite nicely, but boop! Goodbye, Fiora, and this went from quite a good lane to woeful so fast. Got some words for me?
No.
Yeah, I can tell.
What do you want to talk about?
Well, not that top lane exchange.
Anything about the game? Anything except the game.
Okay. We need to actually give everyone names, right?
Yeah, let's play that game right now.
we've
Because
gotta
right
go
now, we are entering a little bit of a lull state. We have Rek'Sai recalling. Okay, Mordekaiser and Syndra, they're poking each other, but we got several people recalling, and there is no fight on the horizon, which might mean that ASURA is moments away from getting killed.
Yeah.
But let's try to play the name game right now.
Yeah, so we've got the mid
Andrew.
lane. Yeah, mid lane sorted out, and top lane on one side is Fiona and Andrew.
Fiona, yeah.
Fiona and Andrew, and then we've got Sandra
Regina and Sandra.
Montgomery.
Yeah.
In the mid lane, and Regina, of course, like you were talking about. Nocturne, though. What's his name?
Nathan.
Norton. Nathan.
Yeah.
I like Nathan.
Nathan. That's Nocturne.
Mm-hmm.
What about Varus?
That's hot. Vince.
Ooh, Vincent.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah. We'll give him a Vincent. We got a replay right now.
Do we really want?
I mean, I'm not quite sure. Okay, flash out of the way, procs the vitals, and then gets
caught on
creep
minions
blocked
for a
on
year?
the cannon. So I mean that's how that works.
Yeah.
A lot of people are probably face palming right now. I know the ASURA fan probably is.
It's not great. Not great at all. I'm glad we got to see it again, though. That's the main thing. That's
now,
the best part.
you know, the caster curse is in full effect, though. Rich has managed to go from having a really poor waves 1 through 4 to turning the lane on its head, having a CS advantage, getting 2 solo kills by himself.
As opposed to getting a solo kill with other people.
Exactly.
Which is absolutely possible,
That's not,
guys.
Yeah.
Don't question it.
It's like when someone gets coerced,
Yeah.
you know?
We talking about mind control again?
No,
I feel like this is
we're not doing that.
It's become a mind control stream.
Another plate. It's going to be 3 plates now up here in top lane, going the way of the Aatrox, as Clown Dragon is going to be the next one that spawns. And honestly, if you're a Team Dynamics fan, you probably want Infernal yet again. But if you're an ASURA fan, you really wouldn't actually mind if a Mountain ended up spawning.
Could work out here. Keep yourself a little bit more durable. I understand. Death's Grasp comes down just to try and clear out this wave, but Shelly's going to say that she does not care about anything like that. Force of Will from Kuzan will help clear this one out, and a whole bunch of plates are going to go over. In fact, the entire turret's worth. And Team Dynamics will move also towards this Cloud Drake. So you were talking about possible snowballs. 3,000 gold is now going to be the lead. We're moving towards Mountain Soul, so better for ASURA than it is for Team Dynamics. But when the silver lining is that the other dragon spawned, it's not much of one.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And so right now in the game, it's only about a 3,000 gold lead right now for Team Dynamics, and they are a team composition that spikes very heavy in the mid game, but the scaling, it is there on the side of ASURA. They have the Fiora, they have the Mordekaiser against the mid-rangey type of team comp.
And they have a dead Varus as well. Nice
yeah.
gank comes in. Paranoia, well utilized, as now Gangnam comes in. Teleport over the top as well, but Gangnam decides that he doesn't actually want to dive forward. And Rich, all he achieves is fearing a bunch of minions. So
yeah,
not necessarily working out here as far as teleports or responses, and that means ASURA just walks away with a kill, and there's no response from Team Dynamics.
Pretty wasted World Ender right there, as well as the teleport, and this is really helping the Fiora start to close the gap. We're actually going to see if Kuzan can solo kill the Fiora here. We'll see if he goes for it.
Yeah,
did try, but came up a little bit short.
No weak there to be scattered, potentially. Knockups are going to land. That's the last Q. Nice damage as the Misfortune just dies at an afterthought. 90k is going to walk out. But I don't know what they were doing, pushed all the way up right in front of a Mordekaiser. But Gangnam, easiest gank of his life, stays bottom lane, gets kill, moves on.
And now we have Kuzan trying to bully. The Fiora ended up actually landing the stun. Doesn't go for any sort of flash ignite R plays, anything of that nature. Fiora would be able to get out of the stun and channel a riposte.
I do really like that Kuzan was playing so aggressively, though, because as soon as that Paranoia is on cooldown, he just doesn't have very much threat from the ASURA side, especially given the fact that he's 2-0-0 and does have such a lead over his Mordekaiser opponent. So Kuzan just understanding cooldowns very nicely as far as when to utilize that aggression. And FaZe, you can see wandering around the enemy jungle, wants to pick up a Brambleback if he can get it. And Juhan wanted to do the same as well, but understands that the pressure is not on the ASURA side of things right now. No kid. Now with no turret to fall back to, can't be moving up this lane to play aggressively. Kuzan, will you find regank here as there's the stun. Unleashed Power is going to come out, but the Death Realm is going to block a lot of that alongside the W. Kuzan's still looking for more, but he has a very small amount of mana. Flash is now available and just gets him with a Scatter the Weak. I haven't seen very many Scatter the Weak last hits, but that's a nice one. Had just enough mana for it.
Well, I mean, he scattered the weak.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah, he did.
He really put the name of that ability to use.
Normally you put some orbs into it, but I just didn't even need any orbs. He
wasn't trying to throw his balls around tonight.
Yep. Well.
That is not what was on the menu right there.
Gonna have a bunch left over. Gangbong on the bottom side, but does have backup that's standing on a ward. A little bit unfortunately. Juhan going to head back towards his jungle to try and get things to spawn. You saw his Wolf Camp was just coming back up. How do you feel about having the 15-second warnings on the neutral camps?
I don't like things that take away skill. Do you know what I mean? I actually don't like timers.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, for instance, so in my dream world or something, I'm fine with like a dragon sound going off. Someone should be forced to time it.
Yeah.
Like when a dragon gets taken, or when a baron gets taken.
Or like when someone flashes and that sort of stuff?
Oh, you know that's coming next. Just wait until when you hit tab and it shows when your opponent's summoner spells are coming off cooldown. That's
if
the
you see
end.
them, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's coming in season.
That might
10
be in the next patch. That
MSI,
might be,
yeah, it's coming.
Is it going to be 10.1 or 9.25 that we get next?
9 or something, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'd like to have a flash timer because I can't be bothered keeping track of it myself. But you see, I'm an anti-intelligence player. I'm the opposite of you. I apologize.
It's all right.
Mid lane, FaZe just going to clear out minions very easily, but he's having a much worse time than he was in game number 1. This is going to be a game about Rich. Sort of like the tides have turned. The power is on the top side now as this Aatrox is very strong. Executioner's Calling was completed. Black Cleaver also done. 30% CDR. As well as the denial of the healing that, of course, those vitals are going to give back to you if you are the Fiora. Shirley coming on out here. 2 games in a row. We've got double Shirleys. This is fantastic.
Yeah. Shirley's getting a lot of
Shirley,
action.
there's just so many Rift Herald sisters coming out onto the map this time around. And Kuzan going to offer some help, taking him down a little bit faster. Double rod in the back pocket, so Kuzan putting himself together a really nice hat to go along with the purple stick that he already has.
Mountain Dragon is available. And it does look like Team Dynamics, they're going to be the ones that run over and try to pick that up. Aatrox in close proximity. Rabadon's Death Cap completed on Kuzan. Actually, they're not going to start it right away, which is a little bit surprising. Interestingly enough, even though this would move them closer and closer towards getting a potential soul capture, and Mountain is really, I mean, it's okay for Dynamics as well when you consider the Death Realm or the initial burst from the Leona, the MF, and then also even the Nocturne ultimate.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's that bad of a dragon to pick up. They're finally going to get it there. You can also see the pretty paltry amount of resistances that it is granting when it's only just one mountain dragon. And this is what I was talking about earlier, where Riot has done this really amazing thing where they nerfed the dragons.
Yeah.
And then they nerfed them again.
Yeah.
And
yeah, they're not
kind
as
of bad news bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
The only dragon that really tends to matter is the third dragon now.
Yeah, which does always come,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah, the third dragon does always come, but I think what it ends up doing is that it makes mid-range and late-game type of team compositions just fine to give over dragons early.
We saw a lot of that as well throughout most of the rest of KeSPA Cup. Not a lot of priority was given there, and a lot of teams without the dragons were picking up victories. Got a bit of a trade as the World Ender is traded for the Grand Challenge, and Rich is just happily roaming around bottom side. May not be as happy as Johan does come down. We'll see whether Rich is going to play aggressively enough for his liking. Do have a serrated Dirk in the back pocket of this Nocturne, but no second item completed yet.
I'm sorry, we didn't get to Miss Fortune. What's her name?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that.
I was thinking Melanie.
Melanie could work. Missy could work.
Okay.
You know?
That's fine. All right, we'll do Melanie. And what about Bob?
Bob?
Yeah, for Brom.
Yeah, I like Bob.
Yeah, Bob's pretty good. He does sort of look like a Bob the Builder.
But Brian's also decent. Paranoia comes down into the mid lane. You got Varus. Throws down the stopwatch that he'd prepared earlier, but there's bullet time. You ain't going anywhere. Okid's going to take him down.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And IDK now behind enemy lines. Guga's going to be looking for him. Rich teleported in, and there's the Death's Grasp. But they're not going to take him down just yet. Was that a flash? Yeah, IDK flashed to get into that position. Perfectly placed. Out of vision. So the Leona expends a summoner spell, but does get out.
And Fiora, meanwhile, getting an objective on the side. That was one of the latest teleports ever by Rich, to be completely honest. That was...
I believe he had to make room so that he wasn't... Oh, wait, you can't stop a teleport as a Fiora, so never mind. Yeah, I don't know. Don't know about that.
All right, well, we can take a look at it once again inside of the replay. Varus feels compelled by the act, by something, to just move through the middle lane like that. Ends up getting snared up, blowing his summoners as well as his stopwatch. Now, he does get a summoner out of Leona, which one could argue is maybe more valuable for clutch engagements, but nonetheless, Dynamics now in mid lane. They're going to summon Shirley. Going to cast it in mid. and now look to maybe raise the inhibitor turret, but this is definitely a slippery slope to walk. 2 minutes now until the next mountain dragon can be captured.
And Shirley's going to get a second charge.
Ooh.
Gigantic damage onto that inhibitor turret. Just the base damages onto inhib turrets is just silly from either Shelly or Shirley.
They really want to get it right now.
Yep, and they should be able to move on up as 5 members. They should be able to take the inhibitor if they want to as well. And ASURA, see whether they do decide to go for that dreaded F word that you've been talking about so often there, LS, in the freezy factor, which is something that ASURA can do to try and deny as much gold as possible. Dash cannon employed by Regank just to try and clear out some minions. But slowly but surely, this is an inhibitor going down. Guga moves on back up. And the autos from FaZe are going to complete this one. Rich dashing forward with the first Q. But now they're going to escape. And with an inhibitor down and a dragon up in 1 minute, they should be able to prepare themselves for a potential Mountain Soul in a couple dragons' time.
So what I want us to do right now is we played a mini game where, because the inhibitor went down, let's see how many waves end up dying. Okay. I'll try to keep track for you.
All right.
Focus on the play-by-play, but I'll just try to keep track, and let's see if the inhibitor at 23 minutes is actually that important, because in the majority of cases, obviously ASURA is still in a fine enough game state where there's no reason that Team Dynamics should just arbitrarily be able to get the Baron, and with them only getting their 3rd dragon right now, it's not even like they're pressured that it's the end of the world.
Well, this is the end of Gangball.
That is.
He's dead.
Yeah, he is. He did pass away. That's a little unfortunate. There.
He only passed away for a little while. He'll be back up again in another 40 seconds, but that is time without a Fiora, and that is going to be sad times for this ASURA roster because they require that split push pressure, which is nowhere near as powerful as it was in game number 1, but at least the bottom lane is 40 CS in the lead, and Okid is a misfortune.
Atrox right now has 114 armor, 52 magic resist. Let's see what he gets after this.
Yeah, I got my eye on it. Oh,
wow.
6 armor? 6 entire armor?
Yeah.
And like a small amount of MR as well? That's crazy.
What a great dragon.
That's busted.
Yeah.
That's just so much dragon in this. But what about the Dragon Soul? How do you feel about
the Dragon Soul's really good.
Yeah, the shield's pretty sweet.
Once they end up getting the Dragon Soul, that is when it will become really good. And so right now, thanks to ASURA trying to push back these minion waves, is very important right now, by the way, especially when they have blue trinkets available and the opponents can't actually Baron. It's imperative that they actually walk up to the waves.
That's sarcasm, by the way, for those playing at home. Just pointing out.
Okay.
The Death's Grasp comes in. That's going to guarantee the knock-up, but also Regank doing a lot of damage here to Gangnam. Throws down the ultimate, mostly just to buy time there, as of course the Death Realm had been employed. Flash out, just the tip of the Glacial Fissure is going to get the knock-up, but otherwise they cannot re-engage. And Team Dynamics now considering moving towards a Baron. There's a cheeky ward around the side there, so all information over to ASURA, but Baron has been started 26 minutes in, and they do have a lot of damage to take this one down. Rageblade Varus does so much Baron damage, especially alongside that Blade of the Ruined King and the Blighted Quiver. Now Juhan, I just don't know whether he's going to be able to get in there. The blue trinket's going to have to be utilized. The paranoia is going to have to get him into the pit, and he is going to die. Oh, it steals the Baron! Oh my god, goes golden immediately afterwards, as well as the Misfortune picks up the kill. The gallant, the valiant Nocturne does go down, but now it looks like the fight is going to be on. Oh my goodness, ultimate hadn't even been used yet as Rich tanks a whole bunch of it. Kuzan dives into the backline and just dies, as now the turnaround has been completed and ASURA have themselves a 1,000 gold lead. That was one of the biggest throws I've ever seen.
That is absolutely one of the largest throws. And remember what I was talking about earlier on about the scaling for ASURA? Well, it's going to be online now from this moment forward. So again, Nocturne, he comes in here, he steals the Baron away. And this is actually, I mean, it's just an absolute tragedy right here. You can see Kuzan, he goes in, he lands the QE onto Leona. Leona lands back onto him. He tries to drag Leona into the team, but in doing so, a lot of teammates take the damage from Misfortune's ultimate, and then no one has the damage, and Varus idly kites forward.
into a
the
death
team.
grasp.
Yeah. So now ASURA, they're the ones that are going to be in the driver's seat. They have the Baron buff. They have the gold advantage. And this is sort of what I was talking about, where it can be really obnoxious to get to the Dragon Soul. And don't get me wrong, Dynamics will have a chance to capture the Dragon Soul, but clearly ASURA's team composition is now able to come online. It's going to be engaged. And so now we're going to have a real fight on our hand, and it's going to be a pretty scary situation now.
So much extra global gold now available for ASURA as well, because they've only got 2 turrets that they've taken down. You can see Regank looking to try and jump onto gank them, and yeah. Where do we go from here if your team dynamics is the question? 1.5 minutes on that Dragon Soul availability, but now so much more opportunity for ASURA just to deny that one away. This misfortune is so incredibly large. And that's Guardian Angel completed as well. I believe in that last fight had only a dagger's worth of that rapid fire cannon and no Guardian Angel. So all of a sudden became extraordinarily strong. Did this misfortune? But Team Dynamics not out of the woods just yet, and the Baron buff hasn't been able to break open the base or anything like that.
So they'll get another fight, but the real tragedy here is take a look at all of the levels across all the champions right now. It's 2 levels in AD carry. It's 1 level in support. It's 1 level in mid lane, although Mordekaiser's been level 17 for quite a while now. 1 level as well in the jungle, and then the top laners are even. So these are base stats that are going in the way of ASURA. And remember, these champions are also stronger at this stage of the game, not only just individually, but also team compositionally. They fare and match up much better against their opponents. And so it's really going to take Team Dynamics outplaying ASURA here in order to come back in this game. Now, if they can obviously go for a do-or-die steal on the Dragon Soul, they can get the 3rd mountain for themselves, force the Elder to end up spawning. That would be a dream scenario, but right now, Fiora, she's at 2.5 items. She's starting to get out of hand. She's going to start threatening inhibitors, and she's going to start doing her permanent push. So Mountain Dragon's up right now, and this is the most important objective right now for Team Dynamics. Now, Gangnam, he lost Baron, but he could redeem it here with the Mountain.
Yeah, trying to steal this one away, trying to get that extra shielding from the Dragon Soul. An opportunity as Rich is trying to defend this inhibitor turret, but is in position as they'll at least be able to take down the Rift Scuttler. All right, that's the exhaust landing onto Regank. He's in trouble, but sets up the Death Realm, trying to get this work done. Nocturne's going to go down, as well as the Varus, though, towards the backside, but they lose Leona. Now Regank chasing after Guga as best he can, but he knows that he's going to be going down as Kuzan is going to lock down his triple. The teleport was invested, though, and now this inhibitor turret will go down on the top side of the map. Team Dynamics, they're looking desperately for this Dragon Soul, and Rich makes his way back towards his own base to try and defend. Okid, nothing he's going to be able to do to try and steal this one away, so Dragon Soul has been picked up, and Team Dynamics back in the driver's seat despite the gold deficit.
They pick up the Dragon Soul, which is absolutely massive, because that is gutting Nocturne's damage now on his engage, especially because he went for a pretty special build.
Oh yeah, the Edge of Night style.
Well, here, you know what? Actually, let me use some antonyms. It's an absolutely fantastic Nocturne build that he has here going on. He has the Edge of Night paired with his spell shield, so he's going to do virtually 0 damage now whenever he presses R on a target. And we're going to see that here inside of this replay. Mordekaiser loses all of his HP. Nocturne presses R, but Nocturne wasn't really the main damage right there. It was mostly the Leona and the Misfortune, and Nocturne isn't really a champion right now. So ASURA, now with the Mountain Dragon, the 3rd mountain as well, bolstering the stats, they're basically playing a 4 versus 5. They got the top inhibitor, but here's the thing about top inhibitors in League of Legends, is when it's in close proximity to the Baron, it often ends up working against you more than it does for you, because the opponents are already there anyway, because they need to be close to Baron.
Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate. Now, if that Baron is going to be taken, it's up in 5 seconds' time. Both teams have open avenues towards getting into the base, but now you've got extra shielding, extra dragon power coming through from Team Dynamics, and they do certainly have an advantage there. So That Baron power play, certainly not something that ASURA is going to ride home and tell their parents about. 3,000 gold, now the lead for ASURA still on the back end of that. And Fiora's doing Fiora things, just clearing out turrets. It's a grand challenge, but the riposte now on cooldown. But look at this, shows his back and grabs the extra healing, but in comes Gangnam. Doesn't get the Prey Seeker though, flashes forward though, that's going to get him in range. And that's going to be a very dead Fiora.
It's going to be a dead Fiora, and that's going to mean that without Fiora, yes, she has teleport available, but it's 50 seconds until she comes to the rescue. It can come down to a Baron fight here. Now, Gangnam doesn't have Chilling Smite available, and with Mordekaiser having Death Realm and Rek'Sai not having QSS, it's a pretty scary situation. So, Fiora did end up dying, but she got the bottom tier 2 turret, and as long as she comes back up and nothing changes, it still ends up being a win for ASURA.
Not to mention the fact that Miss Fiora does have a 0-4 scoreline, so going to be worth less and less gold as he continues to lose. Juhan, yeah, he's you mentioned him not being much of a champion, but Death Realm set up, that is going to mean that Kuzan is going to fall after his Zhonya's is put on cooldown. And now Regank is probably going to be punished for his insolence, taking down Kuzan and his opposite number in that mid lane. And a 1-for-1 trade is not what you want as ASURA. Not going to be able to guarantee you any Barons or anything like that. A teleport into the Baron pit for Gangbung, which is probably not where the Fiora wants to be.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Solar Flare goes completely wide. IDK doesn't get the Zenith Blade you can see. I think it might be nerves for ASURA. They understand 35 minutes into this game, the pressure is on. It's do or die in this one. If they don't win this game, there's no chance they're going to stay in this tournament. Team Dynamics with a little bit more leeway. And the gold lead has not changed, 2.5k, but the Baron
They're actually trying to cheese the Baron right now, yeah. So we have a live replay. They do not deal that much damage, and I think that, yeah, this is definitely going to be sniffed out. We're checking out a replay, but now we're coming back into live. I have no idea what Leona's doing.
Yeah, IDK actually trying to go for some sort of engage. Riposte is going to come down as Gangbung flashes forward, but doesn't get into lunge range.
Oh.
And there's the GA. It has been popped. Gangnam is going to go down to his as well, but does make his way out. The Varus is going to fall as now Rich diving on top of Juhan, looking for the double kills as Okid going to be dived on by this Aatrox. Tries to flash out of the way. No struts available, though, and the Infernal Chains are going to be enough to lock him down. 1,000 gold for the Aatrox as Regank dives on top of him. Gangnam here is going to land. The Prey Seeker grabs the kill on the Nocturne, and the Steel duo from TFT are going to be eliminated, at least one side of it.
Oh.
Nocturne being taken down as now Super Creeps knocking on the front door of Team Dynamics, but no one else is there.
Ooh.
And we have two members alive on both sides as Kuzan gets a flash out of Regank. He's on top of Vision, but we've got backs coming out absolutely everywhere. And the Super Creeps doing work. They've taken one turret already.
Yeah, the Super Creeps. I mean, it's not every day that you see the Super Creeps actually raise a turret, especially not from top lane. And so now they get a Nexus turret. The inhibitor is going to respawn soon. We'll take a look at this replay. Now remember, Miss Fortune has GA during all this. The riposte cast by the Fiora. She flashes over. Gugur got out of the fight, but Aatrox in on the MF. The kill went down onto Varus, giving Fiora a lot of healing, as Braum and Rek'Sai trying to do their best to engage Braum. Sacrificial Lamb ran towards the top side as Miss Fortune got juggled around by the Aatrox there. 40 seconds now.
If at first you don't succeed, try again. Let's see whether the smite button's going to be better from Gangnam or whether he's going to go for something else here. They peel away. They learned from their previous mistakes. I'm very glad that they did. That was going to tilt a lot of people if it was going to be the double throw in the Baron pit. But the shield doing some work. Not a lot of poke damage available on top of this Team Dynamics squad. Is close to 3,500 health for the Aatrox. Getting tanky. And Thornmail now completed, as well as Death Stance and Sterix Gauge. He's very strong.
Yeah, and this is a pretty scary situation right now, because you can see that even though ASURA is basically playing without a teammate in the sense that Nocturne doesn't really do anything, their other members in the team comp, the way that it functions, the way that this Team Dynamics team composition clashes against ASURA's, it's so hard to deal with the Mordekaiser and the Fiora, as well as reliably get onto the Miss Fortune before you lose a member yourself.
Ooh, okay. Mispositions a little bit, but Strut is a pretty helpful ability as far as getting out of the way of things. Elder Drake, a consideration now for Team Dynamics. Gangbang moving down. Team Dynamics move back towards this mid lane. A little bit of milling about here for the squad, but red buff goes over to the Varus. That's what they're sort of buying space for.
Atlas, have you seen Cats?
I haven't. I really wanted to. It was just out here in Korea.
You saw the reviews?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
it's not so good.
I mean, this game. And
I mean, it's really old.
That's okay. I mean, this game is starting to.
How did this happen?
Okay. Well. Okay. Now Nocturne's gonna go in. Here we go. We're flipping a coin. Oh baby.
Maybe a little bit early there on the Nocturne entry. He's already dead. Diving on forward. That's a great scat of the week coming out from Kuzan, but the Varus is already dead. Look at this. Elder Drake goes down so low, but there's only one smite in the pit. And that means now everyone is so incredibly tanky. Even Gangnam, he feels like a force to be reckoned with coming from the jungle, smacking people down. And yeah, passive or no passive, Regank is going to be dying here. Gangnam takes him down, but the Aatrox falls as well. One member still alive. It's IDK against the world as Kuzan and Gangnam are trying to chase him down. They want to get this minion wave, and you can see IDK does not want that whatsoever. He's trying to take it as far away from his base as possible. As the Eclipse comes up, Gangnam is going to be able to kill him. But is it going to mean enough time? Oh my god, the turnaround. But this is Hail of Blades. Rek'Sai, and she is going to be able to get rid of the Leona.
Yeah.
But that Dragon Soul shield was necessary to keep that
yeah,
Rek'Sai alive.
The Dragon, I mean, Nocturne, he just pulled the trigger a little bit too early. And so right here, I mean, Rek'Sai was inside of Guardian Angel, but ended up respawning and then managed to secure the Elder Dragon for his team. But this Elder Dragon was so crucial inside of this fight, but this exhausted a lot of ASURA's resources. So the next Baron fight is going to be a lot easier for Team Dynamics to conduct themselves. And I mean, it's not even going to actually be a Baron fight. There's just no way Nocturne and friends can actually get to this Baron. And I think that's going to be all that she wrote, Atlas, as 1 minute on Elder, minion wave perfectly set up for the champions right now on Dynamics to tag it. And now they're going to run it through mid lane. And I mean, the Mountain Dragon shields, they're not massive. You can see right now it's giving a couple hundred HP to everyone. But that really does matter when your Nocturne's full combo can barely tickle the shield.
Not to mention, that sort of compiles on top of what Mountain Drake's giving you anyway. And with triple Mountain Drake, it's actually relatively potent as far as the extra stats that you get. That's Mercurial Scimitar already on cooldown on FaZe's side, so nice work from IDK to make sure that that one's there. That means Death Realm has to be respected as the Death's Grasp comes in. And no more respect onto that one whatsoever as Rich just obliterates the Mordekaiser, and now the World Ender comes in, flash on forward, and immediately the Misfortune is taken down. Team Dynamics have finally found themselves as Juhan down to his Guardian Angel and will be put into the Death Chamber for the last time in the KeSPA Cup for 2019 because Team Dynamics have got the successful 2-0